Adams. And a great day out here, 81 degrees now with blue skies overhead, and another guest has joined us.
He certainly has. He fell out of his office across the street and rolled right under our tent. It's Bruce Baker from William Pitt Sotheby's.
Thank you, Marnie.
Bruce, welcome.
That's great to be here. How cool is this?
Yeah, it's terrific.
I mean, really, look at the tents, look at the people. I mean, place is mobbed.
It is. And for a longtime Darien resident, you're used to this sidewalk sale annual event.
This is the time you get all the deals.
You're right.
You know, I mean, everybody's out, everybody's happy, everybody's smiling. It's a beautiful day. Great day to sell a house.
Yeah, it is a great day to sell a house. Speaking of selling houses, and let's just get right to it.
Yeah.
I can't remember who the #1 agent at Sotheby was last year, 2014.
Let me help you.
Who was that?
Are you talking Darien, Rowayton, or the company?
I'm talking Darien.
Well, that was me.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm talking company-wide.
Company-wide?
Yes.
Last year? That was me. Yeah, that was me. I mean,
we were talking. I couldn't figure out who it was.
It must have been those ads I ran in Hersam.
It certainly was.
It just draws them in, like, you know, you can't get enough of them, you know. Really, the color.
Yes, that's what we do. That's
beautiful.
what we do. So let's talk a little bit about the market right now as it stands in Darien.
Yeah, it's very interesting right now, obviously, because I know you're up on it. The market is, I would call it wonderfully inconsistent. You would think that based on the economic indicators, the interest rates, you know, people feeling generally, the sense of people feeling a little better about things, that we'd be, you know, really rolling. And the numbers look like we're okay. I mean, numbers look like we're basically flat, but if you look behind the numbers, you know, you see a lot of one-offs, you see sweet spots like for us, you know, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, there's more inventory than we're used to, and people aren't jumping. And, you know, all my fellow colleagues were sitting here scratching heads, you know, coming up with their own theories, which mean nothing, you know, at the end of the day, you know, but it makes us feel better about why this might be. I mean, there was, listen, we did have a winter that went on for a long time. We had snow in April, you know, so there were a lot of the sellers put their properties on late. And there were a lot of good sales early on in the year, but then, you know, things started piling on all of a sudden, and I think the buyers felt like, well, hey, you know, maybe I can wait and see. Maybe there's more. I mean, how good does this get? And so they held back, and now that we're kind of off that inventory coming on, and so hopefully, although it's late, we are hoping that July and August will be good months. And so far, the activity has picked up a little bit, but, you know, a lot of people like to do this in July and August.
Sure.
They sure do.
Yeah, they sure do. So, you know, with Darien, Bruce, and I'm sort of stating the obvious, but, you know, you've got this, like a lot of Connecticut's coastal towns, but Darien's sort of unique in itself in that, you know, you have this beautiful bucolic town that you may not know until you get to it, this amazing coastline and some stunning properties at numbers that are astronomical from a listing price. Talk a little bit about what it's like to run sort of both ends of the inland and shoreline real estate market.
Well, my focus is Darien and Rowayton. My attitude has always been, as part of my, you know, initial bullet point plan, was, you know, I need to know this area like no one else, and I've helped because I've lived here so long. And even if I have someone in New Canaan or in Westport, or this, you know, I could drive them up and do that, but I really would rather refer that to someone who has the same passion for that I do. But in terms of your question directly, one of the things I love about the shoreline here compared to, you know, there's a story that goes that the glacier came across Long Island, which is why they have sandy beaches, and it dumped all the rocks here. All right, and what that does for us, it gives us these really interesting inlets and coastlines that are, you know, that are very, you use the word bucolic, but when you get into an area like Tokenique and you see these humongous, you know, rocks and you're looking up at them, and those end up being settings for beautiful properties. And one of the unique things about Darien is it's not just all about the big houses. You know, because we attract a lot of people coming up from New York, coming up who are looking for their kids. This town really, in my opinion, is all about the kids, which is very appropriate because you're outside, you know, the toy store, which is perfect. And the kids, you know, education, small community, social events, volunteer events, which we have more of than most other towns around us, really make it a destination place to come. But we don't do a ton of advertising. You know, you got to come to Darien. People have found out about it over the years. and there's entry level. And then a lot of people, normally about 30% of our business is people who get here and then they want to move up, as they can. And one of the advantages that we have over New Canaan, which I always like, besides the tunnel they haven't built to the beach yet, but we won't get to that.
I've heard rumors about that.
Yeah, well, one of the advantages we have is that, when the post road was built, whenever that was, in the 1700s, or not built, but when it was a dirt path, people wanted to live closer to the thoroughfare. So the tradesmen, et cetera, they carved out their little properties, around the post road.
Right.
Well, what that's given us, fast forward for so many years, is smaller parcel properties that even for what we offer are good entry level. Whereas New Canaan, because that was farmland, and not picking on New Canaan, I love New Canaan. I love New Canaan. I'm so tired of hearing about this picture postcard street. It's so like, blah, 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 which is why I came up with a tunnel to the beach. But the thing that's different is that was farmland. And so the farmland created bigger parcels.
Sure.
So they tend to have bigger parcels. Right. Where we have more in close, which gets people in, and then they can grow within the town, and that's been a big advantage of ours.
That's a really interesting analysis. I guess I hadn't really considered it to that thing, but obviously you have. You just sort of quickly about the school system. You it intimately. You raised three daughters.
Thank you.
Three daughters.
You have a good memory. Yes.
Talk about the school system a little bit and what it's like to sort of bring them all the way through it.
Well, it's funny. I have a good friend who's a client who is involved in charter schools. And when we got the ranking that we did of being, one of the best school systems in the state, I said to him, okay, so what's the deal? I mean, what makes I know my kids benefited from it, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But he said to me, Bruce, what makes a good school is the parent involvement in the appropriate manner. And he said, Darien has done an outstanding job of allowing parents to be participatory in the development of the educational system without being overbearing. Right. And I get that. There's a good balance. And so over time, what that's done for us, and plus the infrastructure, which is very important. Right. Because we are the way our government is run here, we were very fiscally responsible. So we're on budget. So the budgets that are allocated for things like the $80 million high school that we built several years ago, state of the art, really have not bumped their taxes up.
Right.
Which also becomes a factor that people really want. They say, hey, I can live here. I don't have to pay absorbent taxes. Sure. The other 5 elementary schools, which are neighborhood schools, which is also important because, when you grow up, you want to feel comfortable around your neighborhood and go to school with your friends. And then from that point, they all go to one middle school that was totally redone and is magnificent. Right. And the staff at that school gets what's going on at middle school. Because, as you know, that's where it all happens. It's like the first, I am free, I'm not a kid anymore, they think. Yeah. And the principal, is outstanding. They really get a handle on what that's all about. And then when they go to the high school, of course, they aren't feeling such a big deal. They're like scared to death. So they have a mentoring program to the kids from the high school come down and say, hey, it's not so bad. Let me show you around and let me trail you and make you feel more comfortable over time. And the other thing I wanted to share is my eldest daughter, Sarah, she's now, I've got 2 grandchildren. She's going to be 34. And which is just ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Wow. So I said to her when I got into real estate, which was only in 2006, I said, okay, I'm going to sell real estate now. So was it worth it? Was it worth it going to this? All the stuff about Darien and how beautiful it is. You went to school here. Was it great or what? What am I going to tell my clients? Right. And she said, Dad, it's not about what you think. You think the cars, the this, the that, the houses, the boats. No, it's not about being beautiful. It's about the people that I met and the families that I became close to that down the road offered me access into opportunities that I might never have explored. I was like, wow, man, you are grown up. This is like cool. Yeah. So I credit Darien for that. I credit that, and a lot of that has to do, of course, the way with kids are brought up. But for my kids, they took full advantage of that. We traveled a lot. We balanced the what we have here with the mission trips and the things to keep the kids balanced with, what life is. It's not all like this,
Right.
It's not.
Yep.
But if you do that, I think you got a really good shot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Bruce,
really do.
great talking to you. Bruce
Thank
Baker
you.
from William Pitt Sotheby, Darien's #1 realtor in 2014.
Yay! That might not. There are a lot of other great real estate agents out there, but I will take the applause. Thank you.
Thank you for
got
spending
it.
some time with us.
You're welcome.
We're out for a break as we continue on from here in Darien. As Bruce steps out, so do we. 81 degrees, beautiful sunny Friday afternoon. We continue right after this on HANradio.com and streaming live on the Hersam Acorn Network.